my name is Diego, and in this video, I'm going to share 5 tips on how to practice the theme song for Stranger Things. And I'm doing this video for one of my students called Sophia, as we run out of time in my last class in ways to practice this very popular theme right now. And definitely one cool one, but one that I see my students struggle. So I'm going to share some tips. Hopefully they can help you as well, so you can practice this and sound the best possible. So it's not a super easy piece. So also, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happy to answer questions regarding this song or anything else that you may want to know about piano. So first up, I would like to mention how important it is to play with the fingers that I was using there. It's a little bit weird to play in a way that I'm starting with the 2. Your fingers, by the way, 1 is the thumb, pinky will be 5, and I'm doing 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So part of what I'm trying to do there is choose very strong fingers to do the pattern, because you're playing the pattern multiple times and you're probably gonna get tired. So it's almost like easy for someone that it's maybe hasn't been playing for long to play that pattern at that speed and get tired. When you start getting tired, you're probably gonna start playing slowly, and you don't want that. So choosing these fingerings, I think, are gonna help you play a little bit more even. So tip number 1 is all about using those fingers for the right hand, and make sure that you keep that without changing it. Now, one of the reasons is also not to, I would try to avoid using your pinky, because I'm trying to have these fingers, which are almost like stronger because it's very repetitive on that end. Almost like I would avoid using the pinky. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and back down. Now, the second tip, and this is very, very important, is that this is very steady. So we cannot practice it. So one important thing about this is to use a metronome, and I have one here. So one thing that you can do at the beginning is put it to just count beats, and then every beat will be a note. So and there, if you cannot keep up with that speed, which is fine, then try to slow down the metronome. The speed that I'm using there is 144. Now that's I'm almost clicking, I guess, what will be almost like 16th notes. But it definitely, I think this is one that I see the students, because you have heard the piece, or you have heard the theme, you probably know that it goes faster, but the worst thing that you can do is practice it fast. So definitely take your time, put the metronome, and make sure that the notes on the right hand are even, because the notes on the right hand are actually what drives everything and drives the sound. So I think that is definitely an important part of what you are doing. Now, another tip, I guess, that I have on this is to make sure that when you're playing it, you are actually counting the pattern, because I'll show you here on the left hand. When the pattern changes and we play this note, that note is a D. So when you play that D, the easiest way that I have found for my students to almost understand it without messing it up is to try to do 4 complete patterns up and down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when you play the high C of the pattern is when you're gonna play that D. It's almost like when the pattern is coming down on the 4th time is when you play that D. And that, if you do it correctly, of course, it sounds cool. If you start playing that note somewhere else, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So one more time, 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3. So those notes that make it almost sound cool because you're playing them on the left hand are a great addition, but they need to be in the right moment in time. And I think the easiest way is with the top note. So I think that's a good tip when you're practicing this. Now, additionally, I would like to mention that it's very, very important to probably, if you're younger, not try to do octaves there on the left. So if you are probably in your teens, maybe, under 13, 14, you probably may have a hard time playing these 2 notes. So it is very normal that happens, but the easiest thing is to just play 1 instead of trying to make your life very difficult and really trying to stretch your hand, and maybe it hurts. Just make sure that you are playing 1 note. I would choose the bottom note, because in this we're working with a song that is supposed to sound, I guess, creepy and a little bit suspenseful. So I would choose the bottom note as a way to almost give it more of a bottom end. So that is probably multiple of the tips that I had to share with that student to hopefully make sure that you guys can play this. Of course, you want to start practicing this with the recording, and so you can get a little bit of the feel. Let me talk a little bit about the sounds that I'm using. I'm using multiple sounds there. I'm using a sound that is the piano sound, but I also have this sound. So it's almost like by having those two sounds combined, I think you get a pretty cool like vibe. And I would say when you're playing with whatever keyboard you have, doesn't matter which one it is, I think it's good to try to match the sound. But I also mentioned this to my students, if you cannot really find a sound that matches it that well, then choose a sound that sounds good on your keyboard. Because every song, a lot of people now are very into like sound design, so they may have really tweak the sound and it's from multiple sources type of thing, but I would rather have you play it with a sound that sounds good on your keyboard than trying to have a sound that resembles the song but that sounds pretty poorly. And all keyboards are different, so they almost have its strengths and its weaknesses. So that's pretty much it that I wanted to like share. Definitely let us know if you have any other videos or themes that you would like us to cover. We create tutorials here all the time to help our students get into the process of learning songs that are current. And we also have a free beginners course that you can check by going to thehitfreecourses.com, or you can also go to our website, thehitmusicstudio.com, and check on store. So that's a great course for someone that is an adult and has never played piano. I think it's about 4 or 5 different lessons in which we are going to give you the sheet music with the letters, so you can get started by playing the piano, but in a way that it's almost like all of those lessons are very like they almost connect to one another. So definitely check that out. That's a free resource that we have. We're gonna link that in the description, and also we did a full tutorial on this song that you can check, and I'll also try to post a link there on the description. So hope you're having a great day. We'll see you guys soon, and thank you for watching. Take care.